Hello! This time I've been to Slovenia with my camera. It's an absolutely stunning country. Been to Lake Bled, Lake Bohinj, Ljubljana, mountains, waterfalls, all sorts. Let's go. So this summer I've taken the Nikon to Slovenia, quite possibly one of the prettiest places in Europe. Full disclosure though, this was not a photography trip, this was a holiday. For this video I've chopped the highlights down to about 50 images or so that I thought people might like to see, whilst I narrate some rubbish over the top. First off, I'm going to say sorry ahead of time for butchering the beautiful Slovenian language throughout this video. After our relatively short flight from London, we spent a bit of time relaxing and reading our books down by the lake, where I spotted a massive dragonfly laying its eggs, amongst other wildlife. Are we witness to some hanky-panky here?
I think there might be a little bit of a mating dance.
Oh, yeah. Hanky-panky. Now look. Bled Castle overlooks the lake, which has a stunning view. I'll show you this later on. On the first day, I took the time to visit St Martina Parish Church. As you'll see in the rest of the video, Catholic churches are dotted all over the place in Slovenia. We spent the rest of the evening visiting a nearby farm that made schnapps and enjoying some live music by the lakeside. If you ever visit and you're susceptible to being bitten, it's probably worth using insect spray if you're walking around in the evening. The next day, we headed down to Bled station to hop on a train, heading for the River Soca. I thought this Tomos 14M moped motorbike thing parked up outside the station looked pretty cool. Good morning.
Can you remember how to say good morning in Slovenian?
No. Do you want me to do a James May style intro?
Go for it.
Hello viewers.
Hello viewers. Hello viewers.
Today you join me on a train in the middle of Slovenia, which is stuck waiting for another train. So much for Swiss rail efficiency. Now, in true tourist style, I don't know any Slovenian at all, and I've made zero effort to learn any. Little and a bit embarrassing, and I also don't know where we're going today. We're going on a train, and then we're going on a lake, and then possibly a river involving some sort of boat. Eventually we got going and spent a little while watching the world go by. The scenery was quite reminiscent of a brilliant railway journey I took in Switzerland as a teenager, from Geneva to Bern and to Interlaken and finally to the village of Grindelwald. This is 14-year-old me at the top of Europe at the Jungfraujoch. That's another story though. Meanwhile, we arrived at the lake and cracked open a tinny.
Anything for the shot. Oh, he's filming me, filming him, filming me.
I can't remember the name of the river. The River Soca. I'm going with that. I do think is I don't have much to say at all right now because it's just so pretty that I just want to take it in. Forget cameras. I did see a massive wasp and I'm a little worried. Sun cream is like mixing with the sweat, and like my eyebrows are like doing 90% of the job they're supposed to. Every now and again it sort of just drips into my eye and cheers.
Oh, can you remember how to say cheers in Slovenian? We learned that yesterday.
Turn the camera off. Look, a bear! Home to the Soca trout, the emerald waters of the Soca make this place quite idyllic.
Absolute heaven.
For once, I thought I'd put the camera down and just enjoy it. It's hard to imagine that the Soca Valley was once the site of World War I's Isonzo front, where 1.7 million soldiers unfortunately lost their lives. Just west of the River Soca is the Italian border and the municipality of Brda, which is one of the most important wine-producing micro-regions of Slovenia. It's pretty Mediterranean climate-wise, so climbing this lookout tower to bring you a lovely photo was a touch sweaty. Here we go round the mulberry bush, Actually, it would be like the persimmon bush, wouldn't it, I suppose? I've done a little triangulating and worked out that this first shot I took here looks southeast-ish from the tower across the vineyards and towards one of the national parks. The second, and the better shot I think, looks more southwestish towards a little village called Smartno. Sorry, I'm butchering again. Declared a cultural heritage monument. You can just see the tower of the parish church of St Martin poking out of the top. It looked very pretty, so we went for a walk around.
Just a random stop in a random town for 10 minutes, and it's possibly one of the most beautiful places we have seen. What is it?
Frightened me to death. Next up was Brda, a winery that unites 400 families who have been working together for over 50 years and have turned local winemaking into a success. Walking through the cold and damp cellar, I'm pretty sure I avoided death several times, considering the vast quantities of these nasty things hanging from the alcoves. If anyone knows what these were, please let me know how narrowly I escaped with my life. Cheers. This is the Preserin Square in Ljubljana, which has a public art installation known locally as the area with Ljubljana's own weather. Usually this isolates the rain to this one spot to provide relief from the summer heat, but alas, on the day we visited, the weather made this largely redundant. Great for camera lenses and soggy cake. Welcome to Ljubljana. It's very wet. Did you know? This is the youngest capital city in Europe, formed in 1991, after Slovenia became independent. Bet you didn't know that. I didn't know that until about half an hour ago. Despite the rain, I spent some time taking in this beautiful place and snapping a few more pictures. This is the home of the Slovenian Philharmonic Orchestra, built in the late 1800s. And just next to this is the very impressive facade of what I believe is one of the Ljubljana University buildings. And looking up the road from this, we see the pillar of the Holy Trinity in front of a 1700s Baroque church. There are 101 nooks and crannies to explore here that will make for interesting photos. The buildings that line the canal are particularly pretty as well. After a stroll through the open air markets with fresh fruit and veg as far as the eye could see, I of course did the tourist thing and took a trip up the funicular railway to Ljubljana Castle. I'm sure the view is usually spectacular, but today the most interesting things I found here were a bench and a bike. It was still raining when we made it back to Bled, so for some reason I decided this was the perfect time to mess around with a 10-stop filter to do a long exposure of the water with the castle in the background. Even though the sun arrived to highlight the trees, this was not my finest effort. Boring foreground, live and learn. I also took a trip up to the church on the hill before I called it a day.
The way you start that cake, John.
Oh, it's gonna go. Post cream cake and beer, happy as a pig in shit. The evening was rounded off perfectly, watching Bled's traditional light show, where thousands of eggshell candles are floated out onto the lake. All done by a single man, apparently. Next day was time to visit Savica Waterfall. Breathe.
Looks nice.
Going up 550 odd steps to this waterfall. How do you feel? Look raring to go.
Sure.
See how you look afterwards. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's fine. Can't be that bad. Surely.
See you at the top.
See you later.
Here we go.
Bring a tripod, they said. It won't weigh that much extra, they said. Oh. That was an effort.
Oh, my calves are burning.
Go have a look at your prize, it's over there. Right, okay, I'm sweating cobs, but This is an absolutely epic place. I've got the 10 stop filter on, so I'm going to go for a 20-second exposure. It's full daylight, but I think 20 seconds should be enough to give us some glassy water and a nice effect. Right, let's have a look. See what the view. Can you see that through the viewfinder? Oh, you sort of can.
John is on a rock.
Yes.
You look majestic there, actually, John. It's a really nice shot.
I always look majestic. Thank you very much.
There is a duck. Really, really close.
This is Lake Bohinj, a larger lake about 30 kilometres from Bled. Since I've been up the waterfall, I had the tripod with me, so I stuck the wide on at 14mm and did a 4-image focus stack at the water's edge to get it sharp from front to back. Later on, back at Bled, we took a row over to the island in the middle of the lake. On the way over, you get a great view of the castle. It's quite difficult to get an original shot of such a famous place, so using some trees, some natural framing, I ended up with this. Also tried a black and white, which I shall give a generous 4 out of 10. Another day, another location, and this time I went for a short hike around Vintga Gorge. Up early, and one short free bus ride later, today's when I look at it in a hat. There's a great 5-kilometre or so route down through the gorge and back through the forests. The emerald white waters of this 1600 metre long and 250 metre deep canyon in the Radovna Valley make for yet another stunning place to visit in this country. All these pools and rapids terminate at the Sum Falls, which translates quite appropriately to Noisy Falls. Skipping ahead to after my walk through the forest, we headed back to Bled and up the precipice to Bled Castle. Originally built as a defensive structure, the first tower was apparently built in the year 1011. There's loads of history to this place, of course. Oh, and the view's pretty nice.
Wow. There's no other words for it. Absolutely beautiful.
This is the view over to Bled Island, of course. We actually ended up staying here quite a while. You can't take it all in. You've got fatigue of outstandingness. My eyes just they can't process the beauty. And it also reminds me of, if you've watched Where Eagles Dare, Schloss Adler.
Schloss Adler, the castle of the eagles.
Although, do need sexy Welsh Richard Burton's voice.
Broadsword calling Danny boy.
Over and out. This is unheard of. Jess drinking a beer.
It's refreshing.
Lashko.
And I can see the lake. And I'm having a pizza.
And then, all of a sudden, all too soon, it was time to pack and say goodbye to one of Europe's gems. Overall, I'd recommend a visit to anyone, and it's definitely on my visit again sometime in the future list. It'd be nice to come back and visit Piran on the Adriatic coast, and I'd also like to see more of the Triglav National Park. There's also the whole eastern side of the country to visit as well, where Maribor is, which is Slovenia's second largest city. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I'd love to hear your experiences of this country if you've been, so pop a comment. Take care.